BAZAAR.
Hello, Jyoti ma'am. Thank you so much for taking your time and agreeing to do this podcast with us. We've been very excited and looking forward to a great podcast because as we all know now, the world is moving towards sustainability. A lot of manufacturers in India, including SMEs, smaller players, are also now looking at sustainability. Demand for BCI cotton and cotton yarn has definitely gone up tremendously. So the idea is to uncover what BCI is, what are the benefits, why should one go for BCI with you on this podcast. So lovely to have you and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm looking forward to a interesting discussion.
Sure. So ma'am, before we begin with you, we would like to, start with the rapid fire round just to like set the tone going.
Okay.
Right. So I just have like two or three questions for you. Again, let's keep it very quick and rapid. Number one, what's the best piece of advice that you've received over your career?
The best piece of advice which I received over the years was from my father. He said that there is no age for learning, and that's something which has stayed with me because I changed my career in mid 40s and went into sustainability. So, yes, that's the best piece of advice I've received.
That's a great one. Second is if cotton could have a personality, how do you think it will describe itself?
Flexible, hardworking, humble.
Nice, sure. And what would be like an ideal, let's say, celebrity spokesperson for cotton and why?
Greta Thunberg.
Okay,
She sparked a movement for against climate change, and she's authentic and incredibly bright. So I would think that she would be somebody who would be ideal for as celebrity for cotton.
sure. That's a great one. Thank you so much. Let's start with the actual questions. And I hope you become more comfortable now. So the idea of like putting rapid fire first was like to kind of do it as an icebreaker and set the tone.
Yes.
Right. So I'm just shuffling one question, which is question number three, and I'm bringing it up on top because I think it's important to talk about BCI first, then we dive down into the other questions. Would that be okay? Sure. Okay. So my first question to you is if you could give our audience and listeners a quick overview of BCI, which is short for Better Cotton Initiative. So what is BCI all about? What are its benefits? Why should one opt for it? And what are its core objective as an organization?
Okay, so Better Cotton is the world's largest cotton initiative. It's a sustainability initiative and accounts for approximately 22% of global volumes. And then more than 2.2 million cotton farmers globally are licensed to grow better cotton. It's we work across 22 countries, including India, of course, and then Bangladesh is where we do work with supply chain. But for program side, we work with Pakistan, Brazil, Australia, US, and we work with local organizations to deliver training and resources that help farmers produce more sustainable cotton. And we our aim is to work with cotton communities to survive and thrive while protecting and restoring the environment.
Okay. So if let's say there was a fabric manufacturer, right, or a yarn manufacturer, anyone in the value chain, what should be the reason for one to opt for a BCI yarn or cotton or fabric than a conventional one?
Many of our retail brands have their own sustainability ambitions. And for example, science-based targets and strategies to sustain more sustainable materials. Now, a buyer, for example, had Better Cotton has mainstreamed the production of more sustainable cotton, in turn serving these members and meeting their company requirements. Their investments in Better Cotton helps us accelerate the field level progress. For a supplier, being a Better Cotton member signals their commitment to more sustainable sector. Many become members because they're required to do that because they're following the lead of the retail and brands which are already committed to sustainable sustainability.
Right. So then I think it would be fair to say that, it's very important looking at today's world and environment to become sustainable.
Yes,
BCI is a way where it promotes farmers to follow certain practice or standards while growing cotton, and the
yeah,
same gets transferred the moment a cotton is converted to yarn and fabric and so on and so forth,
correct.
right? And even if a business owner or a textile company is not very inclined towards sustainability, then at
Mhm.
least if they were to look at increasing their business, getting more premium, then a lot of large buyers internationally, a lot of fashion brands internationally, even in India, right, are
Yeah.
now insisting on having BCI as part of the product mix. So if you want to deal with a certain segment of buyers, it's very important that you start adopting to BCI, if not others, right?
See, the impact which we make is huge. For example, I'll give you some impact which we made in India. The overall pesticide reduction has been use has been reduced by 53%. The use of highly hazardous pesticides was reduced from 64% to 10%.
Okay.
Now, water use for irrigation reduced by 29%. Farmer cost per hectare has decreased by 15.6%. So these are very important parameters which impact everybody, because sustainable targets are there with most organizations, and they want to work with an organization which is actually making a difference on the ground.
Sure, and these are some significant numbers,
Yes.
right? Sure. So let's come back to your role. You've had some fantastic professional career. So if you could tell us, something about your role at BCI and how did you also become involved with this organization?
Let me take you back to 95, uh, way back. I started working as a management trainee in a foreign bank. I worked for 16 years with organizations like Standard Chartered and HSBC. But somewhere, something in my heart wanted me to work for people, for environment, for so I started working with. I got an opportunity to make a change, and as I said, that the learning has no age. So I started working with. I had the opportunity to meet Mrs. Neeja Birla, and she told me to join her, and I started working for Empower, which is another Birla initiative. And from there, I my journey in the development sector started. Then I looked at something which could involve a largest population, and nothing like smallholder farmers and workers can make you feel that you are doing something for the greater good of mankind. So that's how I got a call, and I went for an interview, and I didn't know about Better Cotton at that point of time. And I read about it, and it was absolutely fascinating. It was heart meets heart kind of a situation. And I joined them. What do I do? I'm the country director. So I'm responsible for programs, I'm responsible for supply chain, membership, of course, HR, finance, and other aspects of running the country program. Basically, I can say I'm responsible for developing and overseeing the implementation of Better Cotton India country plan that will lead to a strong recognition of better cotton amongst national stakeholders and significantly scale up the volume of better cotton being produced and pushed through supply chain.
Okay, great. And if you could share certain initiatives that you are currently working on at BCI.
Yes, one of the initiatives which you might have heard of is traceability, which we launched in November of 2023. And we worked with 1,600 stakeholders, many of which were suppliers, to do consultation with them. And retailers and brand members such as Walmart, Target, H&M, Marks and Spencer uh, trialed this with us as we worked along with it. And now using the Better Cotton platform, members will digitally log the movement of cotton through supply chain, establishing visibility of country of origin. So that's one. Then in the program side, we have worked on launching the program in Spain and Cote d'Ivoire. We have forged a strategic partnership in these countries. We hold a multi-stakeholder meeting in Chad. So we are working on various aspects, both in supply chain side, retail brand side, and of course our main area of focus, which is the program side.
Right. Sure. And what inspired the establishment of BCI as an organization, and how has it evolved over the years?
So this started in 2005. There was a multi-stakeholder, multi-commodity roundtable to discuss sustainability in each sector. Better Cotton was a result of that meeting. It was backed by the likes of Adidas, IKEA, Gap, then Pan UK, Oxfam, and Organic Exchange, amongst others. Well, we continue to evolve to meet the needs of the multi-stakeholder membership we serve, including our network. Farmers, farmers are the heart of our mission. We now have more than 2,500 members, and as I mentioned, we have 2.2 million farmers. We work across 22 countries.
So since we're talking about farmers, how does BCI work with cotton farmers and other stakeholders in the supply chain to promote sustainable farming practices?
So our work is totally collaborative. Uh, we work with farmers, we work with supply chain, and we work through council. So let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's only with the support of organizations embedded in cotton farming that we actually are able to create a difference. We can deliver training and resources required to produce more sustainable cotton. Then we look at organizations which operate at the farm level, understand the nuances of specific farming contexts, and enable us to benefit the lives of millions of cotton farmers around the world, despite all the differences which are there, you know, eh, from a smallholder farmer to a large farm. So then a retail brand is very important because that's where the finances that ultimately pay for this field level support comes in. We also have a 12-member council, which is at the head of the organization and is responsible for strategic direction. And they ultimately help us to fulfill our mission.
Okay. Okay. And what are some of the benefits that, let's say, a buyer or supplier would get from BCI?
As I mentioned earlier, it is their own targets. So a buyer and suppliers benefits would depend on their strategic goals of the organization. But a lot of organizations have their own science-based targets or sustainability goals. So Better Cotton helps you to achieve that. For example, if you want to achieve uh, carbon sequestration as a target, we work on those. Then Better Cotton has helped mainstream the production of more sustainable cotton, which in turn helps the members to meet the company requirements. Investment helps to accelerate field level progress, which in turn helps in improving scope 3 emissions associated with fashion companies and the cotton they source. That's for buyers. For suppliers, it signals a commitment to a more sustainable sector. Members many become members because they're required to do it if they follow the retail and brand members they serve.
And can you discuss like some of the role that innovation and technology plays in promoting sustainable cotton practices? And how do you work with companies to promote sustainable cotton sourcing?
See, our work spans different operating environments. I work with smallholder farmers, basically, in India. So, as a country of smallholder farmers, our work in India focuses less on technology and more on adoption of innovative techniques that can yield improvement to the land and quality of cotton produced. By definition, better cotton can always be improved. We are using the word better, so we are not using the word best. So we continue to champion best practices, but are receptive to the ideas that are more cost effective for farmers and scalable.
Okay. Sure. And earlier you mentioned, a lesson or an advice that you got your father from your father that learning never stops. Considering your, massive career trajectory, could you share some of the lessons that you've learned, especially at your role at BCI?
There were the three main lessons which I can talk about. Uh, we work with partners, so recognize that what is already in place, amplify and complement one another's specialities, and avoid competition when there's scope for synergy. So at Better Cotton, we don't say that we have competition.
Okay.
Ensure partnerships are mutually beneficial and remember to reflect on whether they still serve their intended purpose. Explore unconventional partnership to broaden your horizon. And the third would be commit resources to partnership which give best chance of succeeding. Only when all parties are brought into a joint mission, change will occur. Failing to align would only lead to resistance, which will create obstacles.
So a very collaborative approach, basically.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. And also, if you could share, let's say, any upcoming projects or initiatives that, our listeners should be on the lookout for from BCI.
I mentioned about the launch of traceability solution in November.
Right.
That's something which keep a lookout for because more work is going to undergo that. It will help retailers and brands better understand the origin of better cotton they source. Then we are looking at foundations for an impact marketplace that would compensate farmers for field level progress. Then country level life cycle assessment to calculate the environmental impact of better cotton in relation to conventional cotton. And apart from that, provide credible consumer and business facing claims.
Okay. Sure. And let's say someone wanted to know more about BCI. Is there any resource or any company or organization they can reach out to get some more information and how it could be helpful for them?
I would suggest that come to our website. Our website is extremely detailed and gives a lot of information. And I learned about better cotton through our website. So it's something which I would always point out to because it's a fairly detailed website which gives a lot of information and has resources to be able to understand sustainability better.
Okay. And if someone wants to apply or wishes to become a, or take the, like become a member of BCI, what is the best way to do that? Is it through the website or there are certain channel partners or companies that they can do it
To the
through?
website.
Sure. I think that's super helpful. Had a great time. Learned a lot about BCI, and I'm sure. I hope a lot of people who listen to this podcast ends up, becoming more and more aware of BCI and its benefits.
Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.